Hey, this is the Father Trucker. So let me ask you a question. Why would anyone want to be a truck driver? What are the reasons why people do this job? Well, I'm going to show you in just 1 minute one of the things that's, to be honest, pretty appealing about being a trucker. Stay tuned. So, why would anyone want to be a truck driver? Well, I got to be honest, probably the lure for many is the truck. We love big shiny trucks. We love big machines, and probably a lot of us played with Tonka toys when we were kids, and we just never kind of grew out of it. So that's maybe part of it. We'll talk about that more another time. But I remember being a little kid and driving down the 401 highway in Ontario and pulling in to the fifth wheel truck stop. And there was just something magical about pulling into a parking lot full of semi trucks and then going in the restaurant and having a meal, sitting down and looking across the dining room and seeing other people there who were also caught up in the whole world of trucks. And so let me just take you for a little drive with me for a minute here. We're on the way to deliver a big box full of groceries, but on the way we got to stop and empty out and load up. So we need to grab some coffee, and I'll be honest, maybe not the best coffee in the world, but it'll do. And probably grab something to go with it, and take a couple minutes and visit the refreshment center, as it were. But this is part of it, part of the magic of trucking, and especially the guys out there who are doing the long haul world. This is reality. Spending every night in search of a good parking spot where you can be safe, sound, and sleep well. Hopefully nobody drives into your truck while you're parked. That's another thing of today, but not for this video. But the life in the truck stop. So what is it about a truck stop that is so appealing, so alluring? Well, let me tell you a bit more about that in just a minute. Let me answer that question. What is it about a truck stop that is appealing, alluring? In a way, it's the only option, right? If you're driving a big long truck down the highway, it's not like you can just pull into any old parking lot to get lunch. Truck stops are designed for us. They have the services that we need, fuel and a big long place to park these big trucks. Usually food, right? A place to get a meal. And a lot of us, especially in today's economy, we're carrying as much of our own food as we can. I've got fridge in the Big John here, and I'm sure all of you guys who are driving do as well. But there is something nice about getting out of the truck and stretching your legs and stretching your knees in my case, and just getting a bit of a walk under your belt and sitting down and having somebody bring you a meal. But let me tell you what I think the real reason is. All those things are necessary and essential, but I think what it is about the truck stop is it's some kind of community. It's some kind of connection. It may not be deep, it may not be life-changing. You may never see the people that you run across again. Maybe you do. I stop in this place a couple times a week as I'm on my way on my runs, but it's not like there's deep and lasting relationships, probably. But there's community of a sort. And here's where the Father Trucker does his thing, right? We're going to look at what the Bible says about that. And the Bible is really, really clear from the very, very beginning. In the book of Genesis, God creates Adam, and he looks at him and says, "It's not good for man to be alone." So from the very beginning, even though Adam had perfect relationship with God, and maybe in your truck as you go down the road, and hopefully I'm speaking to a lot of people who know God and who are Christians. Maybe this cab of your truck, like the cab of my truck, is a place of prayer and worship and fellowship with God, and that's the best. I mean, that is the best. But God looked at Adam having perfect fellowship with him and perfect connection with him, and God looked at him when he made him and said, it's not good that you're alone. You need fellowship with someone that is like you. And if you know the Bible story, the Bible says that God created Eve to be a partner for Adam. And so there's something within us that is deeply needing and longing for and designed for what we would call fellowship. We need to know people, and we need to be known by people. We need community. So when I walk through the door of that truck stop, all these guys parked along here, there's stuff we have in common. There's things that we share. There's an understanding. And if you're watching this channel and you're a trucker too, then you know all the stuff that I point to and talk about in the trucking world. It's common. We understand each other. We get it. And so when you go in a place like this, you're hopefully surrounded by a bunch of people who'll give you a smile and a nod, and it just makes you feel like, hey, I'm not alone. But let me encourage you, and here's the Father Trucker being what the Father Trucker is. Let me encourage you, though, that the level of fellowship and community that you're going to get through those doors over there is not going to satisfy. The alone time in the truck by yourself is wonderful, but it still leaves us longing. And so what do you do about that? Well, what I do is I connect with other people who are on the journey with me. I connect with other people in different ways. We fellowship in a small group, me and the Mama Trucker. We go to church on Sundays, and we hang out with people there, people who are on the journey too. But one of the really cool things, and this is coming really, really soon, I've mentioned it way back in one of the first videos, is an app that we're releasing very soon, free, no salespeople will called the Christian Truckers Toolbox. And one of the things you'll be able to do in that is click on a link that will connect you initially with a chaplain, maybe with me as the Father Trucker. But the goal then is to help connect you with other people who are on the journey, who are going through what you go through, who understand the struggles and the battles and the joys and the fun. And the goal is to connect people together so that you're not alone. So stay tuned for that. It's coming really soon. But in the meantime, wherever you can find it, as I walk across this parking lot, and I've done it 100 times, the funny point is you see someone walking the other way, and if you take 2 seconds and look up and smile and say, hey, how you doing? I'm amazed at how many people just will pause and say it back and maybe want to talk for a bit. And that's something that we can do together as truckers living in this life. So you were made for community. And so let me encourage you, find it, seek it, pursue it. And once this app pops up, then please utilize it. In the meantime, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel if you can. It helps us a ton. And most of all, if you know a trucker who needs to connect and needs to hear some encouragement and needs to hear some truth to help them on their journey, then please share this with them. That's why we do what we do. So, hey, I'm going to go in and get a coffee and a muffin and then get on my way. But bless you, stay safe, and we'll talk soon. Take care.